Hi, my name is John Wenzel. Just imagine you have a loved one that's suffering at the end of their life from a terminal illness. They want to end their life, but they aren't able to legally do that. Wouldn't it be great for them to be able to make that decision on their own without any interference from the government? They are their own best advocates, so it is up to them to determine when the suffering becomes too intolerable. Don't you feel that the United States should be able to lift this ban and allow this to happen? The government needs to be around for certain things, but they should not be controlling when someone's suffering is too much. If you agree with me that a person has the right, without government interference, to make that decision, then join me in legalizing physician-assisted suicide. I have become more involved with this particular cause after watching a loved one of my own suffer at the end. There was nothing we could do to make it better for them. The only thing we could do is to drug them up and try to make it more comfortable for them. That's no way to live. They voiced their opinion, how they wanted to end their life, but we could not legally do anything about it. So for me, it's a cause that's near and dear to my heart. Legalization is really the issue. We need to legalize physician-assisted suicide. What I have here is a chart that I have passed out, and this shows that there is a trend right now over the last 10 to 15 years that shows that there's an increase in the number of U.S. citizens that want to legalize physician-assisted suicide across all demographics, all religions, and you can read this at your leisure. So why do we exactly have to legalize it? Every day in the United States, people are dying from terminal illnesses with intolerable suffering. Cancer is one of the largest types of terminal diseases. According to the Cancer Society, more than 1,500 people each day die from cancer. I have a chart here that I've also passed out that shows those figures of the 1,500 people per day dying, and also the different types of cancers they're dying from. All are horrible, horrible deaths. At the end, as I stated before, a lot of the patients are so drugged up and you wouldn't know if they were suffering or not. It's masking it, but it's not actually stopping the suffering. Many families actually care for their loved ones at home. They bring them home to end their life, and they have to suffer through watching that happen. So it's not only something that's bad for the patient, but the families that have to watch their loved ones go through this. According to the National Institute of Health, this burden can have emotional, physical, social, and financial aspects. In addition to the suffering of the patient themselves, there is a huge financial burden. By keeping the patients alive against their wishes, there's a financial stress on the families as well as the insurance systems. According to Richard Meyer of KevinMD.com, Medicare paid $55 billion just for doctor and hospital bills during the last 2 months of patients' lives. He also stated that 20 to 30% of these medical expenses may have had no effect at all, no impact. Why should a family have to worry about the financial stress when all they should be worrying about is helping their loved one get comfortable through the end of their life? There is a way to ensure that a patient's rights to die is legal throughout the land. The first option is to rally at the federal government level and make them change the laws. This can be done in many ways. The first can be a letter writing campaign to your existing senators and congressmen, voicing your opinion on why you think it should be legalized. The second is to vote for your local representative based on their stance on physician-assisted suicide. And third, get together with like-minded citizens and let your voice be heard through the media. The second option is to form a strong state stance on physician-assisted suicide. If you're able to get the support, then together your voice will be heard. Once you have state support, you can then challenge the federal government and have them defer to the individual states and let the states decide for themselves whether they should have physician-assisted suicide at their own state. Now you know about some of the ways you can push forward to stop the unnecessary suffering of terminally ill patients. Just imagine how you'll feel if you're able to grant that last wish to your dying relative and let them die with dignity. Not only will your loved one have the satisfaction of making the decision, but you'll have a little bit of relief too, because you did not have to make that decision for them. It was something that they planned themselves, and they knew what time was the right time to do it. You did not have any effect on when that happened. The only person that knows when the time is right is the patient themselves. So keep them drug-free, let them make the decision, let them die with dignity. Also imagine that no government can stop that from happening. We don't want federal and state laws that prohibit a terminally ill patient from the ability to end their life with a physician assistance. Don't think that someone else is going to make this happen. This is something that everyone has to individually really strive for. We need to all get together and push to legalize physician-assisted suicide. With all of the terminally ill patients that are suffering throughout the world, we need to get this passed as quickly as possible so others will not suffer. I also passed out some forms that I have. I have some up here. I've passed some out, and these forms are standard forms. And what you do is you would fill this out with your name, address, phone number, today's date, your senator or congressman's phone name, and I'll read what I say. Dear Senator / Congressman blank, I write to you today to voice my opinion on the subject of physician-assisted suicide. It is my feeling that every United States citizen should have the right to make their own decision in regards to when they should end their life and stop their suffering. No government should control this right, and it is for that reason that I write today to implore you to help make this possible. I am not alone in my efforts to see this happen and will do anything in my power to see it through. That being said, I will also watch closely how you react to this request, and my future political allegiances will hang in the balance. Cordially, blank. It's a strong, small message for all of our government officials to realize that their decision is going to base their future in their political future. They will not be able to continue to be your politician if they do not listen to what you have to say. After filling out the form, you would send it out to your representatives. The goal here is to flood their mailboxes. You can't be ignored if thousands and thousands and thousands of the same letter are showing up at a congressman's house or a senator's office. Let them know in no uncertain terms they need to react, and they need to react fast. Before I leave you tonight, I want you to just imagine one thing. Imagine a little old man sitting in a bed, in pain, the last days of his life, with his wife next to him, and he's in pain and they're trying to administer the drugs, and he is suffering greatly. Now I want you to substitute that unknown anonymous person with your father, or your brother, or your grandfather. Wouldn't giving that man the right to choose when his suffering should end be the right thing to do? I think so, and I hope you do too. Thank you for your time and consideration. Take care.